Alright, so we're gonna present our ePortfolio. The person I picked was Brent Ward, and he's a junior designer at Meyer Davis Industry, and he told the story by telling how he was interested in the field of design, and then he presented himself with the attributes and what he wants for his future. So his important things that he emphasized in his ePortfolio was organization, because he put things into 4 groups where he then showed where each project affected human scale, and each of those groups showed the main projects, and they were describing and he described the story for each of those groups, and it was easy access to find both or all of those projects.
Yeah, so the positive impressions I got from him is he presented the reader with an incredibly strong about section from his website, which invites the reader into his history and views on design as a whole. And the personal anecdote that he presented created a personal link between himself and the audience. And then, at least for the embedded text that he used, it was pretty effective in my mind because it allowed him to present all of his projects and kind of categorize them into small, medium, large, and extra large, making it easy to interact with his work.
And Brent also added his resume, which was easily located, and where he talks about himself and what inspires him. In his visual design, Brent creates a simple yet approachable ePortfolio, and his visual design isn't bland or something extraordinary. He keeps his projects organized and allows the story to flow within each project with pictures and words.
And then the next ePortfolio that we analyzed was Juliana Ferrera's. Upon first impression, some of the things that really jump out are the bold color palette, vibrant design, and its somewhat busy atmosphere. And then some information about the author. After reading this introduction section, it's pretty clear that she is a fashion designer / acquiring a fashion business degree. And she moved from Colombia to the United States and attends Lenore.
So the information was presented pretty clearly in the opening part on the website and the "Let me introduce myself" section, and I mean the small graphics and the symbols help out with that as well.
And then next, we have some positive impressions of this ePortfolio. And so just asking the question, what about this page gives an initial positive impression? And to begin, it immediately grabs your attention. And she also utilizes a quote from Martin Luther King. And then along with that, her photo that defines her is a original and artistically altered photo. And along with that, the font used is very legible and bold. And then some of the positive aspects of design, we have, again, asking ourselves these questions. What is successful about this page's design? And we found that the color palette coincides with the field that the designer is within. A bold, vibrant color palette with a fashion design ePortfolio. The palette also allows for an inviting feeling so that the reader is not only intrigued by the content, but also feels able to explore it. And then about the navigation of the site, especially the positive aspects of navigation and the use of exhibits. It features clear sections, it's easily maneuverable between tabs. The desired information is very easily found, and all the information is relevant to what the readers would be interested in viewing. And then finally, we have some of the negative aspects of the page's design. And that would be, at times, the amount of detail within the background can appear to be pretty overwhelming and busy, which is also visible on the image here on the left. Some of those patterns in the background just conflict with the reader's eyes. And then along with that, in certain instances, the vibrant colors are slightly too much, making it difficult to see text, also visible in this image provided. And then finally, the section detailing class assignments and projects is very dense with information, in which the image on the left is directly taken from.
And so for our third and final person, the ePortfolio, this one belongs to OG Ivanovich, and he is somebody studying at Waterloo, and he's studying honors mathematics and a major in combinatorics and optimization, and he works as a SOLA for STE. And I think in terms of his identity compared to the other two, even though it is very organized, this one definitely does not have enough personality to it, and it feels a bit too plain. And I think it's especially important that when he first presents his information, he just dives straight to his work without really providing much about himself as a personal, as a person. And I think one thing that was very clear about the importance of him was that organization is very big for him, especially the way he organizes in the order that he presents his ePortfolio. And what stands out really is the progression from the introduction to the conclusion is very smooth. From the insights to the failures that he presents, from the start to the end is very concise and very clear. But I think sort of similar to what I was going at earlier, because it doesn't have much, I don't know what's the correct way to describe it, it doesn't have much personality and much interest into it. It feels a bit dull, and other than the organization, it very lacks the personality of Ogi himself. But some positive things about him is that, once again, it is very organized and very cohesive, and it's very simple and easy to understand. And I think one big theme about it No, it's okay, we can continue on.
Edit that out.
Yeah, we can edit that out. One positive thing about him is that he's very organized and cohesive, and it's very easy to see that he's able to learn from his mistakes, and improve upon, which is very important for a person. But reiterating what I keep saying, the negatives are very, very obvious in that it's very plain. It doesn't have any personality, and it's very hard to recognize the clear identity from him. And to be more, another thing about the specifics is that the images he presents are very small and very hard to interpret. But some things about his visual design is that I guess I'd say it's pretty interesting, the image of the rocks he has in each part, though I really don't understand the reasoning behind it. And I have to keep reiterating this again because I really can't say much else about it, but it's a pretty simple portfolio and it's very easy to navigate around. But just reiterating the issues that there's a very lack of diversity in the different ways he presents his portfolio. I mean, all it really is just text, bullet points, and images, and no really other interesting ways of representing what he's trying to show.
So going off the same ideas that Sultan brought up, I mean, he doesn't use very many multimodal elements to get his point across, and if he does use pictures or graphs, they are cluttered and tough to read, pretty grainy pictures. And then the navigation experience through the website is pretty straightforward, but lackluster in comparison to the other two websites that we came across or that we visited. Done.